Hey, welcome everybody. My name's Chuck Hansen. I'll be your host over the next 15 or 20 minutes. And, what I'm going to give you is some very interesting information that I saw for the first time in August last year, right? It was something that I knew nothing about, but it was so intriguing. I had to continue to do my due diligence and look at it. And here's why. There's some huge trends that are taking place, and those trends are really the next big things, right? And what I'm talking about, the next big thing is the Internet of Things. And maybe you know about it, maybe you don't know about it. I had no clue what the Internet of Things was all about, or the IoT network as it's kind of abbreviated. But I'll tell you about it as we move on. I also was exposed to a company called Helium, and not the gas, but a company called Helium, based out of San Francisco. And I'll tell you a little bit more about them. And also a cryptocurrency, also called Helium, or HNT for short. And so those are the three things that I got extremely excited about. And here's why, right? The Internet of Things. Right now, it's about an $800 billion a year industry, and there's 8.4 billion devices or things that are connecting to the internet. Now, I'll show you how that is all going to work out into a lot of money for all of us as we move forward. In
Jack, unmute yourself.
Okay. In 2024, they say that the industry will be $2 to $3 trillion, and that there'll be 10 times as many devices or things connecting to the internet. And the Internet of Things, as you probably already guessed, is the next internet, right? Not for people, but just for devices. So, very, very exciting times. Helium cryptocurrency. Let me tell you a little bit about that. It was 25 cents in June of 2020. I'm sure that I wish that I would have known to buy it back then. It hit $21 in April of 2021, 6,000% increase. And here's where it's predicted to go. But tell you about Helium Network. Started in 2013. What they decided to do was build this next internet, this Internet of Things, right? And instead of doing it the way the telcos have done it in the past by putting up towers, they decided to do it with people just like you and me. So what you're going to hear about is
in progress.
is an opportunity that will give you a
Jack, you're muted again.
massive amount of income if you pay attention. Right now, there's actually about 40,000, a little over 40,000 hot spots around, but millions required in this venture that we're embarked on. The Helium cryptocurrency, right? Predicted value. I want you to pay attention to this. Now, you know how predictions are. I don't know if they're going to come true. Certainly, the company that made these predictions certainly believe that they're going to come true. But right now, helium's about $15 thereabouts, been bouncing between $15 and $20, predicted to go, as you see, 111 by the end of the year, 349 by next year, and by 2025, over $800, right? That's amazing. So, if these predictions are true, we're going to create more millionaires than any other company in history. And that's a bold, big statement, but it is absolutely the truth. So let me show you some things. We're going to show you how you can own a piece of the world's largest wireless network. That was the question that was asked to me last August. How would you like to own a piece of the world's largest wireless network? I said, yeah, of course. Who wouldn't want to own? How much is it going to cost me? Well, not very much. And so that's what kind of got me hooked into the whole thing. So welcome to iHub Global. Welcome to the future. Let me tell you exactly what we're doing. We're building in conjunction with a couple of other companies. We're building the world's largest wireless network together, along with Helium Network that I've already told you a little bit about, and a company called CalChip Connect. So these two companies are in unison, right? We're working in unison with them to build the world's largest wireless network. And it all started with this. It all started with this little machine, right? This is an iHub miner or a Helium Hotspot. I affectionately call it a pig or a passive income generator. I love it. And this is the initial first model of that product. This is the second phase of this product. This particular model is designed specifically for us and was provisioned with our proprietary software in it so that we could pay commissions in helium. And I'm going to show you why you want that. It's better than cash. What got me excited about this whole thing was that there's no competition. There's no other company building the world's largest wireless network. None, right? So we have no competition. You can make money 24/7, 365 just by having one of these machines and plugging it in. And I know you're probably saying, come on, Chuck, when I saw this, it was like the Holy Grail. It was like something that I'd been looking for 50 years finally arrived, and I couldn't hardly believe it. No monthly fees, no auto ship. This is not a network marketing companies. Now there's no recruiting required, but if you wanted to build a team, we're going to show you how that's very, very profitable and beneficial. So I also discovered that this thing is totally recession proof, right? And it's virus proof, it's COVID proof. What I mean is that these devices, these billions of devices, are going to connect to the internet some way, somehow. And Michael Stern's going to give you some more information on exactly how that works. So just stay tuned. We're going to get to that. The Internet of Things, it's connecting billions of devices, right? $800 billion a year industry right now, over 8 billion devices, soon to be a $2 to $3 trillion a year industry. And what are these devices? They're like smart pet collars, bike trackers, every type of asset and building monitoring. Everything is smarter if it connects to the internet. And that's what Helium decided to do back in 2013, was to build this next layer of the internet just for these devices. So let me let you hear from a good friend of mine who I brought a couple of hotspots to his office, one for his office and one for his home. And here's what he's got to say.
Hi, I'm Dr. Scott Tunis, a board-certified ophthalmologist, a fellow of the American College of Surgeons, and I've been in active full-time practice for 36 years. For that time, I've had a lot of people come to me with different business opportunities. My response has always been the same: thanks, but no thanks. I'm busy doing what I'm doing already. However, when one of my trusted and loyal patients, who I have known for 20 years and done surgery on, introduced me to iHub Global and explained to me that I could earn helium cryptocurrency without purchasing anything simply by hosting a Helium Hotspot in my office, I had to investigate the opportunity.
The Helium Network is a community-based wireless network of hotspots that provide a cost-effective and secure way for the low-power smart devices to send data to and from the internet, or the Internet of Things.
With iHub Global, I in fact discovered that I could host a Helium Hotspot in my office at no cost to me, without ongoing maintenance, fees, or software licenses, and I would in fact earn helium cryptocurrency. Now, as a practicing healthcare professional, I can tell you that no one has ever offered to put an income-producing piece of equipment in my office for anything less than $50,000, let alone for nothing. I also had the option at my discretion to purchase the hotspot for $400 at any time up to 90 days after installation, and then the percentage of helium cryptocurrency that I would earn would increase fivefold. But it would be my option. I could remain a host if I wished.
Consider the future integration of these rapidly evolving technologies, the expansion of telemedicine, the evolution of smart diagnostic equipment, the increased use of remote patient monitoring devices, the Helium network and its ability to transmit data from smart devices far less expensively than cellular or GPS, a cryptocurrency linked exclusively to the tangible infrastructure of the Helium network, and a passive income stream of Helium cryptocurrency which has appreciated over 4,000% in less than 1 year.
I thought I must share this opportunity, and the network is even more valuable when it expands. So I looked out my window and realized that my dentist is 2 miles down the street. She has a perfect location for a hotspot, and she'll understand this concept right away. So I had to tell her about it. I thought maybe she'll be interested, and maybe she won't. No sales pressure. But one thing I'm quite sure of, if I don't tell her about it now, in 5 years, she'll be asking me why I didn't. Oh, hi, Stephanie, right?
Hi, Scott, and yes, you're right about that. This is multiple cutting-edge technologies all converging into one perfect storm. Do what I did with the link below. Do your own research.
Thanks for watching.
So that's just one of many different videos that we've created and will create, and will create funnels to move traffic. So let me tell you a little bit more. If you've ever been around on any network marketing presentation, you've probably seen this, right? I'd rather earn 1% off of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. And you know, a lot of people, including John D. Rockefeller, have felt that way. I came up with a little bit different turn on that. I said I'd rather earn 5, 10, or 15% off of thousands of hotspots than 100% of my own. And I'm going to go in and give you the big picture. I've showed you a little bit about the company, about the product, right? The hotspot. Now I'm going to talk to you about what these things actually do and how much money they can actually make, which is really mind-boggling, right? The cost of getting started is $500. That's a cost of one hotspot, and that's totally optional. There's no purchase required whatsoever. If you can't afford it, there's no excuse for not getting started. There's no recruiting required if that's something that is just, you know, you don't feel comfortable doing. But I can tell you that once you have one of these hotspots in your home or your office and you see it actually working, you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to tell everybody you know, because it's absolutely amazing. No monthly purchase required at all. Free to join, and you receive a free funnel and a free website and all of those things absolutely free, right? What I love about it most is the total transparency. Everything is on the blockchain. If you don't know what the blockchain is, you can go investigate it. But it gives us total transparency of everything. So, and we are all paid in Helium cryptocurrency, and you see the, you know, the potential increase. Certainly can't get that getting paid in dollars or rubles or any other currency for that matter. So let me tell you how all of this kind of breaks out. And this is the 30,000 foot view, right? Let's assume that your hotspot earns 100 helium. And I just took that as an example of this, 100 helium a month, right? 100 helium a month. 50% or 50 helium go to the owner of that hotspot. 10% or 10 helium go to the person that referred that owner. Then there are 4 different parts of the coded bonus program that make up the next 20% or 20 helium, and then another 20 helium or 20% that's paid to iHub Global and the partners that put this whole thing together. So we've got an 80% guaranteed payout. So what we do is we collect all the helium from all the devices And then right now, once a month, we distribute that helium based on ownership, referral, and all the different coded bonuses. This particular plan that we're using has been responsible for $1 million a month earners, and they didn't have a product anywhere near as exciting as this product, as the Hotspot. So let me show you just one. This is a good buddy of mine. In fact, our CEO, Rick Cotton, this is his house. This is his trendy tan duck. Now, here's some figures of what it's earned in the past. I grabbed a hold of what it's earned to date, right? So far, it's earned 871 helium, and I just said $15. It's been up and down, but I wanted to give you something to kind of, let me figure. So times $15 is 13 grand, right? This is one machine, 871 helium times $15, 13 grand, and the machine costs $500. You just ask yourself, how many of these would you like to own, right? And how many other people would you like to tell and get a little percentage off of everything they do? So let me explain the compensation plan that we've utilized, which is a coded bonus program. And what we've got exampled here, these are personally enrolled people, right? People that enroll for free and then buy a hotspot or have somebody in their organization buy a hotspot, and it becomes active. So the first group is the pro team. You earn 10%, and that's 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty simple, right? The next group is what we call the bronze team, and that's 10 people, 6 through 15. So they just line up like that. You earn 15% override on their hotspots that they own. The next team is the silver team. Again, 10 people, 20% override on the hotspot that they own. And then eventually the gold team, and the gold team starts at 26 and goes on to infinity, right? And it's 25%. So this is a big one. Let me show you what happens. So I'm going to go and assume for a second that each one of these hotspots earns 100 helium a month. You got 5 people. You got 5 people times 100 is 50 helium. You got 10 people times 100 times 15% is 150 helium. Now, then you've got 10 people, again, at 100 helium, that's times 20% is 200 helium. And finally, 10 people or more, right? But I put 10 people times 100 is 250 helium. So, that's 650 helium. If that's all you did, if that's all you built, we're a team like this, 35 people, and that's what their hotspots earned, then 650 helium times 12 months is over 7,000, 7,800 to be exact, helium annually, right? 7,800 helium annually. So do the math. Now, what I'm throwing up here are something that no other compensation plan has, and at this bronze level, there's a 5% bonus to infinity. At the silver level, there's a 10% bonus to infinity, and at the gold level, a 15% bonus to infinity. More details on that, and we've got videos that explain this, but this is just kind of a quick overview. Like I said, it's paid to infinity starting at the bronze level. So let's look at things for a second. Let's say you accumulate. I just showed you how you could accumulate 7,800 helium in a year by building a small team. Let's say you accumulate 10,000 helium by December 2025. The value of helium is predicted to be $840. I just want you to do the math with me for a second. 10,000 times 840 is 8.4 million. I don't know if you've got anything better to do than to do this. And hopefully, like I said, it's going to take a little bit of luck. It's going to take a little bit of work. But if all of those things happen, and what if they only happen half that well, right? What if it only went to 420 and this was only 4.2 million? What if you worked real hard and built a gigantic team and you accumulated 100,000 helium by December 2025? That's $84 million, folks. I mean, that is life-changing, life-altering, generational income that is not available in anything that I've looked at in my entire career. So I would encourage you to get back to the person that invited you over here to come and take a look at this incredible opportunity. I would thank them for doing that. And with that, I'm going to stop this share and I'm going to turn it over to my buddy, Mr. Michael Stern out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Michael?
Hey, Chuck, can you hear me all right?
Gotcha.
All right, great. Let me get and share my screen. That was awesome. I mean, those numbers are crazy, Chuck, with that small group of people. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is totally amazing.
And I know the hundreds of thousands of people you've built in your career all over the globe. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people. It only takes a small group of people.
Yeah, this is totally extraordinary. So for those of you who are looking at this at the first time, I understand there's a lot of information here, and I'm gonna give you a little bit more, just to give you some more insight as to how all this works. So Chuck mentioned Helium. Helium is based out of San Francisco. They got their start in 2013 after a group of really amazing people analyzed this whole Internet of Things arena, and they recognized that it was growing exponentially even back then, but they also saw that there was a significant weakness to the whole concept. And that was all these devices that would put out data to be used by smart applications somehow needed to get that data to the internet in order for the magic of these smart applications to work. And there wasn't any simple way to do that. In fact, they saw that a lot of companies had to spend a lot of resources to build their own internal infrastructure to make this happen. So they decided to do something that was really audacious, and that was to build this global peer-to-peer network specifically to provide the rails for these Internet of Things devices to seamlessly get their data to the internet, to make this entire application of the Internet of Things something very, very easy to be implemented. And that would allow for all the creative effort to go in and produce different types of devices and different applications to improve everything in our community. So as Chuck mentioned, these guys decided not to follow the big tech type of situation and do it all centralized, but to decentralize it and allow us as individuals to participate in this whole endeavor. So back then, even they recognized that there was a protocol that was becoming the main standard for the Internet of Things manufacturers for those devices to get their data to the internet, something called LoRa, which simply stands for long range, but it uses a radio frequency that's just a little bit higher than FM radio and a safe biological range. And so you got all these devices that need to get their data to the internet. And so this idea is that we go ahead, we acquire one of these devices, we plug it into our own internet. The IoT data is using this radio LoRa broadcasting. It sends it out encrypted from the device. It gets to the closest Helium hotspot through this LoRa system, and then it uses that person's internet connection to get that data to the internet. And then the data can be pulled down by the people in the applications that need to have access to it. So now the incredible genius of this project is they decided to incentivize us to do this by putting this entire process on a blockchain with a cryptocurrency token called Helium, and a blockchain designed for this project specifically, where it creates these Helium tokens through the various activities that they call proof of coverage, proving that we've added additional real estate, additional geography to this worldwide peer-to-peer network to allow it to reach further. And here's the amazing thing is, so these units are generating the Helium tokens that Chuck's been talking about, but the people that need to get access to that data, they have to purchase those Helium tokens and convert it into something called data credits to pay for this data that's coming through. And when that happens, it removes that Helium token from circulation. And ultimately, as this network gets built out around the world, there'll be a very stable ecosystem of the creation of these tokens and the consumption of these tokens strictly within the Helium project itself. And that's why this whole Helium business model is kind of being held up as the poster child for an ideal business model using cryptocurrency. Now, let's just talk just a minute about this proof of coverage. I don't need to go into all the details of it. I'm going to show you a few units and maybe touch just briefly on some of the activities of this proof of coverage. But you got to understand that every one of these hotspots is on this LARA radio network. At the same time, it is connected to an internet connection, and it's connected to the Helium blockchain. So the proof of coverage is essentially a unit that's in proximity to a unit that is doing something over the blockchain, and it's witnessing those transactions, proving that that unit physically exists by that nearby connection to radio. Now, there's also data transmission by the IoT devices itself that generates the Helium tokens, and something called consensus groups as well. But I want to just kind of talk about what the world, the business community at large is thinking about this. They started shipping this initial proof of principle device that Chuck talked about in the summer of 2019. He started actually getting plugged in and used in December of 2019. And following that, Fast Company did an article on the Helium project, considering it one of the 10 most innovative consumer electronic companies in 2020. Back in 2019, Time considered it one of the best inventions of the year. And they likened it in their article to a miniature cell tower. Not that this has anything to do with cell phones and cell towers, but they were referring to the incredible investment opportunity that happened in order to produce the infrastructure needed for the cell phone systems. So people had the opportunity to invest tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in these cell towers. And Time really felt that this was extraordinary, that us as individuals can basically purchase for around $500 the ability to own a piece of this network and receive residual from that for years and years and years to come. In the crypto space, Decrypt Magazine did an article on Helium when they flipped the switch of their innovative wireless network for the Internet of Things. And Fortune Magazine talks about how major companies like Nestle and Lime Scooter are already migrating their IoT to the internet process through the Helium network. So this is something that's already happening on that. Chuck already talked about how much these things can generate. I'll touch that a little bit more on that. We also talked about the value of the Helium token. But what I want to do now is I want to show you a couple of specific units here. As Chuck mentioned, these things are all on the Helium blockchain. They're all completely transparent. And what I want to do is let's just take a look at a couple of specific units here so that you can get a sense of what's possible. So let me go ahead and share my screen again real quick, and we'll take a look at some of these things that are out there. So first off, Chuck's shown you a couple of pictures in some of the images that he had. This is an application that's actually plotting every one of these units onto a worldwide map. When we started looking at this in August, there were less than 7,000 of these units out there, and they were pretty much all in the US and Canada. They started shipping units over to Europe in the fall of 2020. There's some 42,000 of them now. So it's gone up 7 times since August. And yet it's going to take tens of millions of these things to cover all the cities and towns and places all around the world. But we're just at the beginning of this venture. But I want to take a look. I'm going to go back to this one location that Chuck shared in Vero Beach, where Rick is living. When he first started considering putting some units in Vero Beach, there were no units there. And he bought 10 of these units, and he engineered what we call a cluster. Not only did he buy the units, but he created the marketing funnel to find the host, like that gentleman, that person in the video talking about being a host. He talked about a very inexpensive advertising strategy. And then he engineered this process, putting this together, making sure they're all connecting, using antennas, whatever it took to get connectivity on here. But we'll just use this one example, the handsome ivory gibbon. This thing over the last 30 days has generated 421 helium tokens. Now that's a lot. Chuck talks about the average being around 100 a month. That's generally because a lot of times you just have things happening anonymously. You don't know who all these people are. They may have units that are effectively connecting or not, but Rick did a very good job of finding a way for these things all to connect with each other and increasing the quantity of all of them ability to generate helium, with the idea of being able to pass that on to us to educate people in the iHub community on how to maximize this. So what does this actually represent? Let's say, for instance, that you are somebody that signed up for free in iHub, and maybe it was in a location where you don't even have the ability to order a miner yet. Maybe it's over in a place like Singapore, or someplace yet where we're currently not shipping, but you knew Rick in Vero Beach, and you reached out to Rick and you said, hey, you got to check out Helium. You got to check out iHub. He went and bought a unit. He put it in. It generated 421 tokens in 30 days. What does that mean for you? Even without having a unit, just like Chuck said, you would be getting that 10% referral, or even more possibly, depending upon other things that may be happening. But let's say that you got 10%. That would be 10% of 421. That's 42.1 token. Okay, 42.1. Right now, helium's about $14. That's about $590 value that's represented by this 1 30-day period. And it's not a one-time thing. Once this thing is happening, you're getting 10% of whatever that unit would be generating ongoing for year and year and year, each time as it goes along, every 30-day period. Now, what about Rick? He bought the unit, generated 421. You take a look at that at 50%, 210 times $14. That's like $3,000 that $500 purchase represents. Now, it's true, he did a lot more work than just somebody getting one unit. He engineered this entire process. But if you go to any of these other units, and by the way, the unit here we're looking at's in white. These gold ones are units that this one is witnessing the transactions that these are doing on the blockchain. And let's just take a quick peek of that so you can see everything's on the blockchain. It's all totally transparent. So here's a witnessing transaction it's doing with the unit 2.1 kilometers away. Here's a witnessing transaction it's doing at 1.5. This one's, about a kilometer away. All these things generate helium tokens, these rewards, and they all are part of this proof of coverage. And essentially doing that. Let's take a look at another unit. This one's over in the London area, just below the Thames. This one's called the Strong Sand Chicken. I want to point this out, that compared to what Rick put together in Vero Beach, these units are connecting just randomly to the units that are in the area. This wasn't engineered by any one individual. There's a ton of units in London. But you can see that this is reaching out in some cases a lot further than the 1 to 10 miles, typically that this LAR network is able to do at ground level. And that tells me that this unit is probably in a high-rise building, or it's got an antenna on the top of a roof, it's reaching out a lot further. This unit here generated 566 tokens within the last 30 days. If you referred that person, you'd be getting 56.6 tokens for that month. 56.6 times 14, that's almost $800. The person there that's got that unit, they're getting 50% of that. So they're getting 283 times 14. That's almost $4,000 for what? For a $500 purchase. These are crazy numbers. Now, I do want to point out, these are not the typical numbers. This numbers of about 400, 500 or more. That happens by units being at a high elevation, because in radio, height is king. It can reach farther out and connect with more units. You take a look at this other unit, also in the London area, same thing, almost 1,000 tokens in the last 30 days. So it's kind of crazy of what's out there doing it. So I want to just finish this off real quick by going and showing that, everything we do is a function of the decisions we make along the way, the decisions we make, and then the actions we make on those decisions. If you're looking at this for the first time, like Chuck, like myself, like just about everybody that's looked at this, you're scratching your head going, cryptocurrency, blockchain, Internet of Things, helium, what does this all mean? And that's okay. That's precisely what we were doing in the process. We took our time to figure it out, to get our questions answered. But I can tell you at the end of the day, it's as simple as getting this thing, hooking it up, connecting it to your internet, doing a few little tweaks to put it maybe at the right window of your home, or put an antenna up. And then after that, it's set it and forget it, and just watch the helium flow into your helium account. So that's pretty exciting from that point of view. But I want you to get your questions answered. Take the time to go ahead, join for free into iHub Global, get a miner going if you're able to, and take advantage of getting back to that person. Thank them for taking their time and energy to share this with you. And I want to thank you for your time. We're going to go ahead and stop sharing right now. And I know that Rick has a couple of things he wants to share with everybody. So thanks a lot. And I am going to pass it back to Rick or Chuck.
Hey, Michael, thank you so much. Great job tonight, guys. Listen, I appreciate it. We got a little long tonight, but we do got some big announcements. Kind of a big day for us at iHub because we just breached 12,000 affiliates. So congratulations to all you guys. It's an incredible feat in just a matter of a few months. Another big day for us too is we just sold out of our purchase order. Now you guys might be a little disappointed about that, but we're working hard to secure another purchase order. So we blew through 12,500 units in a matter, gosh, it's been less than a month, I think. So we are the fastest growing group in helium right now, I think, and it's exciting. It's because of what you guys are doing out there. So incredible work. But there's also, right now, you guys are probably getting an email. John and his team put this together. We're now taking pre-orders for our next PO, our next purchase order, which we hope to have some big announcements for you guys maybe in the next couple of weeks on that one as well. So we're working hard to secure as many units as we possibly can. So now we can also do that internationally. So we want to take the pre-orders internationally. So we're going to really represent the .global and iHub. And we need to know where the demand is, right? If we have huge demand in UK, then we're going to work towards a purchase order in UK. But going forward, really our growth is so incredible. We have to secure all of our own purchase orders. And we're working hard to do that, guys. So great news, 12,000 affiliates as of today. And great news, we sold through 12,500 units very, very quickly. But now we're also opening up pre-orders that are going to get attached to our next purchase orders. But you guys can do that. Now, every single pre-order, and instructions are in the back office. I think it's live already. Every pre-order, it has to have associated with an address. So don't go in there and order and just put fake addresses in there. So we have to associate with an address. So you can have as many as you want, as long as you have unique addresses on every single one. Now, can they be monitored later? Yes, of course they can. But please just don't make up addresses just to secure pre-orders, because we're going to fulfill the ones that are qualified and so forth. So that's the big announcement tonight, guys. And so This Thursday, we're also going to do a lot more training. Michael, you did a great job talking about the funnels and so forth. And, thank you for all the credit for the Vero Beach model. But, it's all our great partners here in Vero Beach that really made that happen. But we took our time, we built that model, and you really could take those original 6 units that are there and probably put them up against just about any other 6 units on the entire blockchain. And they all average 300, 350, 400 HNT a month. But it's because of the structures, because of the things that we've learned in the process. And that's a big part of the training that we're going to continue to drive home with you guys. How do you create these 6-packs? How do you maximize? If you're going to go into a brand new area, you want to make sure that you do it this way. If you're putting them in a city, it doesn't really matter. But those cities are already getting saturated. So we're going to continue to focus on our 6-pack strategy, where we can kind of develop new areas. And we're going to continue to give you guys tools to do that. So on Thursday, we're going to talk some more about that. We're also going to start something called Funnel Fridays. And so we've used funnels. I've been using funnels for a long time. They're very, very effective. I know a lot of our affiliates are using funnels as well. So we're going to introduce Funnel Fridays. So look for an announcement on that. We're going to start bringing out some of the funnels that we've been testing in the background. You guys have seen some of Dr. Tunis's video. He helped us put together an incredible medical / professional funnel that we're going to get out to you guys. So we're going to introduce Funnel Fridays. So look for that. That's going to be a new call. And then tomorrow night, guys, remember, if you're just getting started, you're brand new here, and you said, man, I'm in, I want to do this, make sure you jump on the Getting Started tomorrow with Michael. He does a great job, the nuts and bolts. It's even more detailed. So be patient with yourselves as you learn this process. When we all jumped in here, it was a learning process for us as well. But once you get this business down, it's pretty easy. Just plug it in. That unit that you showed in Vero Beach, it's sitting up in my attic, and I haven't looked at it in 2 months. And it just sits there and earns and earns and earns. And so it's pretty exciting stuff. So I guess with that, guys, I'm going to turn it back to you to close, Chuck. But we'll see you guys tomorrow on the Getting Started. Great job, Michael. Great job. Great seeing everybody.
Feel good, Rick. And, again, kudos to everybody out there, because it was all of you collectively that have done all the work. I mean, we kind of set it up, but it was all the other phone calls. It was all the other, combination of getting everybody connected, over 12,000 people, like Rick said. And that number, we've done this a couple of times before. We'll watch that number now explode and go to 50,000 very, very quickly, and then on to 100,000. I mean, I've been there, done that, and it's very exciting when the fish are jumping in the boat. Anyway, don't forget about the Zoom tomorrow night, 9 p.m. I'll be there with Michael in case he forgets anything, and then Thursday we do a great training. And then Rick just sprung that Funnel Friday on us, and I'm glad he did. So, hey, with that, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed everything. We'll get this replay out to everybody. We'll also post it up on our Facebook page. So, with that, thanks for joining us, and good night, Michael. Thank you very much. Rick, thanks. Autumn, thank you for all of that, and John, all the hard work and stuff that you do behind the scenes. So God bless everybody. Good night, everybody.